A big tell that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau knows that his Liberals are likely going to lose the upcoming by-election in the Montreal riding of LaSalle and Verdun is that he's already making excuses for the Liberals losing before the election has even happened. The election's happening on Monday. It's currently Saturday, and the Liberals, on their main social media account, are posting videos of Trudeau on radio shows where he's saying that, well, it's just because we're too principled. It's because of Francois Legault that we might lose this riding. This riding that has been a solid Liberal riding for a very long time. In 2021, the Liberals won it with like 43% of the vote and like 42% of the vote in 2019. It doesn't sound like world-shattering numbers, but you have to know that the second place party came in with like 20% or 21% of the vote in both of those elections, those last two elections. This is a safe seat for the Liberals. Montreal in general is a safe region for the Liberals. And now Justin Trudeau is having to basically explain away why he's so unpopular without ever actually saying it. I want to get to this clip that the Liberals posted themselves, because even in this clip, the radio show host still has to ask Trudeau, well, isn't this indicative of the fact that a lot of people don't like your government? And then he tries to hand wave it away. Before I get into that, I just want to show you the approval ratings for Justin Trudeau right now that came out of Abacus data. I tend to like their approval disapproval system because they don't do this nonsense with like some would approve, some would disapprove. Either you like the guy or not. You don't strongly approve or some would approve. You like him or you don't like him, or you don't know. Those are the three options. So right now, Justin Trudeau is at his highest point ever for disapproval. 61% disapproval, with only 22% of people approving of Justin Trudeau. And I believe in this Abacus data poll, the Liberals were like at 24, 25%. So there are people saying they're voting Liberal who don't even like Justin Trudeau. But like in all of my other videos where I cover Abacus data polls, you'll notice that Trudeau's approval rating is generally around where the Liberals' polling is. If you don't like Trudeau, there is a very slim chance that you're still considered voting Liberal. That's the advantage of actually the NDP and the Conservatives. You can like Jagmeet Singh, but not really want to vote for the NDP. And at the same time, you can not like Pierre Poilievre, but you can vote for the Conservatives because you like their policies. That also is all wrapped up in the fact that the NDP's leader usually gets glowing coverage from the mainstream media where the Conservatives are constantly attacked. So people will kind of signal the sort of mainstream position that the media gives them that, oh, Pierre Poilievre is sometimes a mean guy, but they'll still vote Conservative because they don't want to go, bankrupt, and they want a party in power that's good for the economy. I think Pierre Poilievre is a great leader, which is actually why he has a positive approval rating, despite the fact that a lot of people hate his guts irrationally. But whatever, that's just how the cookie crumbles in Canadian politics. But now let's get over to Justin Trudeau. Let's hear him out. Why is he not doing well in this Montreal by-election? The answer might shock you. But anyways, before I get into this, I just do want to quickly mention the fact that I have my legal defense fund in the description of this video below, as well as pinned in the top comments, just so that you guys, if you want to support the show, can donate there. We have a Chinese billionaire suing us for like $900,000. I've spent $32,000 defending ourselves. It's nonsense. It's a defamation case where he hasn't even submitted any evidence proving what we said was defamatory, because what we said was reported by tons of people before us. But, he is trying to just basically bully someone he assumed couldn't actually defend themselves in court and pretend that everything ever said about him is wrong. So here's Justin Trudeau. And in this post, and again, note that this is literally the Liberal Party's account, the headline says, "We'll keep bringing people together and building a better future for everyone." That preempting the fact that Trudeau's about to talk about how, they're not looking so hot in Montreal.
I have to ask the question, though, for people about to vote here in this by-election. So I'm wondering what you tell Montreal's Anglophone population, and I bring this up because I get these calls all the time whenever we talk about this, who feel the federal Liberals have let them down.
Well, first of all, I understand that feeling, because people are feeling, well, first of all, they see a government in Quebec City, Legault government, that has decided the best way to protect French, which is something that I agree with. Yes, we need to protect French, but Legault's decided the best way to protect French is to attack the English Canadians. And that doesn't make any sense. We see the most egregious example of it lately with the switch in hospitals. We also see it in his attacks on our alma mater at McGill, and his attacks on bishops and Concordia. But the idea that someone's going into a hospital for a test or something, anxious, they might have cancer, anxious, they might be sick, and is going to have to be worried about whether or not they can get treated in English because their French isn't that strong, that's just wrong.
Here's the funny thing about this, and I'm gonna play the rest of the clip in a second here. I don't want him to go on too long without me breaking it up too. But Trudeau's actually right about this. Trudeau is actually right. The French language laws in Quebec are nothing less than draconian. It's not that they're promoting French, it's that they're demoting anything that isn't French, to the point where even though everyone can speak English in Quebec for the most part outside of rural areas, we all have to pretend that you can't speak like English. Then every sign's in French. They just don't have English on anything. It's ridiculous. But Trudeau's a complete hypocrite. He's voted in Parliament on motions to basically just let Quebec do whatever it wants on these particular issues, even though they're probably charter violating. They did it so that Quebec didn't even have to use the notwithstanding clause. They basically just allowed Quebec to do whatever they want, even though it's obviously patently ridiculous. But now Trudeau's going to pivot over and just talk about how, it's just unfortunate that a lot of people are, not seeing our way on this, because we've been so protective of the Anglo-Canadian population. So he's basically trying to blame Francois Legault as if because Trudeau's been opposing his hyper-French nationalism, even though he still wants to protect French, that's hurt him in Montreal because of his deep love for Anglo-Canadians.
We've been pushing on the Legault government to emit a new directive,
but nothing has happened. There's been no change.
I love that they still have this in the Liberal clip of him basically saying that you're full of garbage.
They have committed to putting out a new directive and to change that directive, and we're going to keep pushing on them as we have to do that. Now, the one thing that Legault wants that I don't want is a fight. He's trying to pit people against each other, and my commitment to Canadians has always been to try and pull people together, and picking sides and trying to say, okay, this one's more strategic for me to back or not. No, I'm a proud Quebecer. I'm a proud Montrealer. My mom's from Vancouver. My dad's a francophone. Like, I get the duality. I get the strength of this town. I get the strength of this province.
He actually sometimes is a skilled speaker, and this is him trying to very subtly make excuses for why he lost. He's saying that Francois Legault is dividing people against each other for his own political gain, because he's trying to excuse if the Bloc Québécois win this next election, because the Bloc looks like the most likely party to win in LaSalle and Verdun. The NDP have a chance too, but the NDP is also a clown party, so they are turning off a lot of people with their candidates basically running against everything. They're just openly anti-Canadian. They have the Palestinian flag on all of their literature. I want to go get that photo of his campaign office. It's just plastered with a bunch of non-Canadian flags, as if these are his favored countries and favored demographics. It's absolutely nutty. He'll grab up a lot of the progressives, and that's why they're thinking that a lot of the more middle ground liberals who are sick of Trudeau are going to shift towards the Bloc. The Liberals still could win this by-election, but Trudeau is sort of salting the earth preemptively and saying that it's because Legault was dividing people and he pushed a bunch of French nationalists to vote Bloc, because we've been at odds with him and we've been fighting, and he's trying to punish us for us standing up for Anglo-Canadians, when Trudeau hasn't stood up a single day for Anglo-Canadians. He makes sounds every once in a while about Legault being a bit extreme, but that's really it. That's absolutely it. That he just makes kind of weak noises about that, and he just makes weak noises every once in a while, and he's pretending that that's why Legault has a vendetta against him. Legault doesn't have a vendetta against him, other than the fact that him and Legault are both deeply unpopular, so they're trying to start fights with less popular politicians. So both of them are doing the same very cynical thing. But now I just quickly want to bring up on screen the picture of the NDP candidate. Oh my goodness, my computer's being slow. But again, the NDP candidate, there's this big controversy around the Palestinian flag on all of his literature. In a certain sense, I actually think that what he was doing was just trying to cause a media story, and that wasn't probably a big piece of what they were putting out. But the NDP, at the very least, thought it was worthwhile. So they did do that. Oh, my goodness. My screen here is still frozen. Goodness. Technical difficulties, everybody. But anyways, here we go. Here's the photo of this candidate standing next to Jagmeet Singh out front of his campaign office. I'll just bring it up right on the front. So we see there, up to his left, we have the trans flag plus the Palestinian flag. I don't think two groups of people that I don't think mix very well. He has normal rainbow flag below him on the left, the trans flag. He has this flag of this breakaway Armenian region there, some other flags from other Middle Eastern countries, indigenous flags, the Ukrainian flag, all this stuff. And it's just so annoying. It's just so annoying. That's the only way of talking about NDP politicians. They're annoying because they're so sanctimonious about subjects they're usually wrong about. Like, I think that supporting Ukraine is fine, but they usually shove it in your face at the same time that you're like, you guys are the ones who actually don't care when left-wing dictatorships around the world are oppressing people. But, when you label the Russians more right-wing, even though the Russians aren't even right-wing, the Russians are just kind of authoritarian, or like Putin's just kind of an authoritarian. Now you suddenly care. Well, they praise the Chinese, or they won't criticize the Chinese when they're oppressing people. They won't criticize their favorite dictatorships in the Middle East. They won't criticize their favorite dictatorships in South America. But as soon as the Russians are doing something, it becomes a problem. I think they're all problems, but the NDP are complete obnoxious hypocrites. And this election, although Trudeau's trying to play it off that if I lose, it's because Francois Legault got me, there is going to be momentum. I'm not sure if it actually goes anywhere because the Liberal Party has far fewer spines than they have members. There are still Liberal MPs pushing to make this a litmus test on Trudeau's leadership. And if he loses, he should leave. You have this one Liberal MP, Alexandra Mendez, saying that he should be stepping down. The headline here reads, Liberal MP says her constituents are very adamant Justin Trudeau needs to go. She herself is another Liberal MP in Montreal, or I believe right outside of Montreal. Her specific riding, if I can look it up here, is Brossard St. Lambert, another safe Liberal riding. And when she's sounding the alarm, it probably means that even she's scared that she might be at risk in the next election, because everyone thought Toronto St. Paul was a fluke, or at least all the Liberals thought Toronto St. Paul was a fluke. Heavy Jewish population, they're mad at us for being very soft on anti-Semitism, as they should be mad. But that can't be repeated in other metropolitan ridings. Well, this riding, Verdun, does not have a heavy Jewish population. Liberals are still super unpopular. It might just be that this chart is reflective of reality, that 61% of people don't like Trudeau. Only 22% of people do. And you can't win an election with only 22% of people approving of your leader. Somebody who the media is constantly trying to like fluff up and make him look like such a positive progressive figure. Oh, he's so skilled at politics. The media can't put the shine back on. And so the Liberals, if they were smart, would dump him. I know there's many conservatives who say, no, Justin Trudeau should stay because it makes it easier for us to win. Guys, stop being pansies. We should want to fight the toughest Liberal possible because we are better than them. I always hate this nonsense where conservative strategists sit around hoping that the Liberals just make mistakes. Guys, how about we start doing things well? Pierre Poilievre actually does stuff really well. I think Pierre Poilievre would mop the floor with Mark Carney. I think Pierre Poilievre would mop the floor with any Liberal leader right now because Liberal policy has failed. We can beat any of them. But I always, and this is a completely separate rant, I hate the idea of people are like, oh, you shouldn't want Trudeau to step down, or we want him to stick around. Like, I know it's kind of a half joke. Oh, yeah, we definitely, we want Trudeau to win the by-election so he's dumb enough to stick around for the next election. I don't. I think in Canada, we should renormalize people getting out when they should have gone. Justin Trudeau's expiration date was a long time ago, and I don't really care about the catharsis of beating him in an election. That's fun. At the same time, I want it to be that when Canadian politicians are screwing up big time, they leave. That would be a great thing to normalize, that you leave when you suck at your job. And Trudeau has been sucking at it since he got into office. So I don't want him to stick around for another year because he could do a lot of damage out of spite on his way out. At least throw in a Mark Carney who thinks that he's delusional enough to actually recover their popularity and still plows into the side of a mountain, but at least somewhat pumps the brakes on some of the worst liberal policies. Because, you know, hoping that Trudeau sticks around for another year is basically saying, let's hope another 10,000 people go bankrupt based on Trudeau's bad policies so it's easier for us to beat him. Let's hope for the best possible future in the shortest possible time. You know, let's hope for a new election as soon as possible. I don't think it's going to happen, but let's hope. Anyways, that should be it for me today, guys. If you want to donate to the Give, Send, Go, I encourage you to do that. It costs us a lot of money to fight back against this guy who can easily pay for any litigation he wants. It's nonsense, but now even he's ducking us. So the case has slowed down quite a bit because as it's been going on, he's realizing that we have been able to pay for it as the case has been sort of developing. And now he's scared that if he gets to the end of the case, he's going to lose and get completely embarrassed. That is the future that we want to manifest here. And so we are trying to make sure that we keep the pressure on, and we're going to try and apply somewhat soon to have summary judgment to get this guy out of our hair. So if you want to contribute to that, it's in the description of the video. It's pinned in the comments below. So if you can give anything, that's really helpful. If you can't, keep watching the videos, like, share, subscribe, do all that great stuff. And I'll see you guys in my next video.